Film that.
Too late. How you
Hey, how we put it back on? Son of a hoe.
How many resources to put on fire?
You want to put your hubcap on so it doesn't look weird that you blend from one to the hubcap without. It went flying.
No, it's red hot here.
There you go. You're good. Alright, so after we get the tire off, we need to get the drum off so we can inspect the brake drum. You want to come over here, I'll show you some of the things that we're looking for. You want to look for any glazing, any deep gouges in it. If you look over here, you can see we got some cracking right here. I don't know if you can see that very well. I don't even know if that even helps it anymore, but there's some cracking on the inside of the brake drum. So obviously by seeing that, we know that we need to definitely get a new brake drum. So when checking the run out, you want to get 3 different measurements. You want to make sure that you stay within 25 thousandths of an inch. I don't know if you can see that very well. But you want to make sure after you get 3 measurements, you want to take the average of that measurement and make sure it's not 25 thousandths of an inch. So basically what I do is I take the biggest measurement and the smallest measurement, subtract from each other, and if we're under 25 thousandths, you're pretty good. But you want to be careful. Obviously keep in mind that the truck's going to be out and that you want it to come back. So make sure if it's getting close to that, if it's like 20 thousandths, even shoot, I would even say down to 17 thousandths. Let the driver know, see what he wants to do, maybe get a new brake drum. Yeah, just let him know what the issue is and what's going on. So that's another thing you can do while doing your brake inspection. The next thing that we can look for is we're going to take a look at our linings, make sure that they aren't so worn down to the rivets. I'm going to look for any cracks, any chips on it, any abnormal wear. We want to check that. So yeah, that's what we'll want to do at this stage of the brake inspection. All right, guys. So while inspecting your brakes, one thing you need to check is how much lining you have left. Typically, you don't want to have less than 1/4 of an inch. That means they definitely need to get changed. If they have about 1/2 inch, you should probably let them know they need to get changed, because most likely they're going to be shot the next time they come around. So, you can always let the driver know or whatnot that he needs to probably think about changing out the lining, since you're already at this point and doing a brake inspection. Just one of those things you talk to them about and figure out what they want. Some other things that you can look at is bent springs. For instance, like that. That's not good. We wouldn't want something like that in our brakes. We want them to be form fit, not all bent out and stretched. This spring right here, I don't know if you can tell, this spring is actually bent. And we'll tear it off and we'll take a look at it. I'll show you a little bit further more. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to inspect these rollers and the S-cam. Make sure we don't have no flat spots in the rollers, and go from there. All right, let's get on. All right, so back here, opened up these brake shoes. Let's see if we can show you just how bad that spring was right there. You can tell how bent up it is. The other thing that we're going to check for is, like I said, we're going to check for our rollers, see if there's any flat spots in them, any big gouges or any big scoring, lots of scoring or anything on them. Just want to make sure that these things look all right. This is where a lot of the important stuff happens. As you can see, I can show you right here, this spring that these sit in, you don't want them to be all bent up. As you can tell, probably not supposed to sit like that. So we would at this time replace these springs, probably replace this spring as well. Yeah, the springs that we've got here actually will be around the back. Right here, we would take a look at these springs, make sure they're not bent. And also look at our anchor pins, make sure those look good and there's no significant damage on those. And these are all things that we would look at and take notice to while taking this brake inspection. Or some other things that we look at, is seeing how deep these holes are to the rivets. This is going to tell us also what our pad thickness is. It's going to tell us if there's any uneven wear when we check these. Making sure that they're about the same length and the same amount of brake lining on either side. So yeah, there's just some certain things that we would look at and just take notice of, and figure out what all we need to change and what all we need to take care of and what all needs to be done. Other things we can take a look at is our S-cam. We'll make sure that there's no bad scoring or damage in that. Another important factor we need to take note of is our slack adjuster. We want to make sure that it is adjusted to spec. We want to make sure that our push rod travel is to spec. This is just this is a main part of the brake system. It's really going to affect the way the driver feels out his brakes, and if this is not properly adjusted, it will cause issues with the brake system. And the driver will tell you about it. So yeah. If you see the shoes there, it looks like this one probably should be adjusted. Because the best way to do this is you want to tighten the slack adjuster. I wonder if I can show you this bolt. There's a bolt right there that will either tighten down the shoes or loosen them up. So that's a good thing to take note of. We want to tighten that bolt up all the way until the shoes hit the pads. And then once they make contact with the shoes, see if I can get it to focus in here real quick. There it goes. So once we have contact with the drums, we want to back that nut off a half turn, and that'll be the best way to adjust these. So. We would take the spider off and check the bushings, make sure that they're not warped or out of round, and make sure those are working properly. There'll actually be bushings on both sides, so we'll take a look at both of those. With our slack adjuster, right there, we would actually take that slack adjuster out. You would check the splines, make sure they look good and make sure everything's working properly there too as well. So there's a lot of things that you need to look over when doing a brake inspection, and so you just want to make sure you hit every point of it and every part of it and make sure everything looks good. Don't want to send somebody out there with some bad brakes